Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable chill run down your spine? That sense you're not alone, even in an empty room? We brush it off as imagination. But what if it's something more? An echo of a story so dark, its shadow reaches us even now. Tonight, we journey into that darkness, peeling back time to reveal crimes that have haunted generations. These are true stories, pieced together from police reports and witness accounts, tales of ordinary people shattered by extraordinary horror. Lower the lights, lean in, and listen to the whispers of the past. For in the silence, the truth, however terrifying, waits to be heard. Our first story takes us to the remote Bavarian countryside, 1922, a time of quiet desperation and hidden secrets in the aftermath of the Great War. We're heading to a small, isolated farmstead, a place that would soon be etched in the annals of true crime history. Hinterkaifeck, a place where the veil between the ordinary and the terrifying would be irrevocably torn. The Gruber family, Andreas, Kazilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, her two children, Josef and Kazilia, and their new maid, Maria Baumgartner, lived here, surrounded by fields and forests. They were a family seeking solace in the simplicity of rural life, unaware of the darkness that was about to descend upon them. But weeks before tragedy struck, an unsettling atmosphere began to permeate the farm. Strange, inexplicable things began to happen, casting a long shadow of dread over Hinterkaifeck. There were footprints in the snow leading to the house, clear and distinct, a story told in the fresh powder, but none leading away, a silent stalker approaching, but never retreating. Keys vanishing from their usual places, disappearing into thin air, as if snatched by an unseen hand. The sense of security, once taken for granted, began to crumble. And an unfamiliar newspaper appearing on the porch, a foreign voice whispering into their isolated world, a message they couldn't decipher, yet knew was meant for them. The family heard footsteps in the attic at night, a heavy, deliberate tread above their heads, a constant reminder that they were not alone in their home. But every search turned up nothing. The attic remained empty, silent, a mocking testament to their growing fear. The source of the sounds remained elusive, a phantom presence just beyond their grasp. Even the previous maid had quit, overwhelmed by the mounting dread, convinced the house was haunted by something malevolent. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of an unseen presence lurking in the shadows. On March 31st, the new maid arrived, Maria Baumgartner seeking a fresh start, unaware that she was walking into a nightmare. It would be her first and last day. That night, under the cloak of darkness, one by one, the family was lured into the barn, drawn into a trap from which there would be no escape. And there, in the cold, dark confines of the barn, they were brutally murdered with a mattock, a farm tool turned instrument of death. The killer, not satisfied with the carnage in the barn, then entered the house, seeking out the remaining victims, the youngest child and the newly arrived maid. 6 lives, extinguished in a single brutal night of unimaginable horror. A family wiped from the face of the earth, leaving behind only questions and a legacy of fear. For days after the murders, smoke rose from the chimney, a macabre signal to the outside world, and the animals were fed, their needs tended to with chilling normalcy. Someone stayed in the house, living among the dead, perpetuating a gruesome charade, a silent dance with death itself. When neighbors, finally concerned by the lack of contact, investigated, they found the bodies, carefully covered with hay and sheets. A strange, unsettling gesture, perhaps a twisted act of remorse or a chilling element of ritual, adding another layer of mystery to the already baffling crime. The crime scene baffled police from the start. Money was left untouched, ruling out robbery as a motive, deepening the enigma surrounding the killer's intentions. And the killer had shown an eerie familiarity with the farm, navigating the property with ease, suggesting an intimate knowledge of the Gruber family's routines and habits. Over 100 suspects were questioned, their lives scrutinized, their alibis dissected, but no one was ever definitively charged with the crime. The investigation stalled, leaving a community gripped by fear and suspicion. Theories abounded, ranging from a vengeful neighbor harboring a long-standing grudge, to a drifter hiding in the attic, a silent observer who finally snapped. But nothing fit perfectly. Each theory had its flaws, its inconsistencies, leaving investigators chasing shadows in the dark. The only clues, the footprints that led to the house but not away, the missing keys that unlocked more questions than doors, and the chilling silence that followed the massacre, a silence that spoke volumes. The farm was demolished a year later, its physical presence erased from the landscape, but the legend, the haunting memory of Hinterkaifeck endured. Modern investigators, armed with advanced forensic technology and a fresh perspective, have revisited the case, hoping to finally unravel the mystery, but even they have failed to definitively solve the crime. Perhaps the most haunting detail of all, the killer stayed for days, calmly tending the farm, feeding the animals, maintaining a semblance of normalcy, as if nothing had happened, a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. Was it a stranger, a shadowy figure lurking on the periphery of their lives, or someone the family knew and trusted, someone who had shared their meals and their secrets? The mystery endures, captivating and terrifying us in equal measure because it taps into our deepest fears, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the intruder in our midst, and the chilling realization that evil can hide in the most ordinary of places. The whispers at Hinterkaifeck, the echoes of that horrific night, have never truly faded, carried on the wind, etched into the very fabric of the landscape. They linger in the wind across the empty fields, a constant mournful presence, a reminder that some questions are destined to remain unanswered, lost to the mists of time. 6 souls lost, their lives brutally cut short, and justice never found, a wound that continues to fester in the collective memory. The case remains one of history's most chilling and perplexing unsolved crimes, a dark stain on the Bavarian countryside, a puzzle that continues to defy solution. Even now, generations later, the story is told in hushed tones, whispered around campfires, a chilling warning, a dark legend, a shadow that stubbornly refuses to lift from the land. Sometimes, the scariest monsters are not the creatures that lurk in the darkness, but the ones we never see, the unseen forces that drive ordinary people to commit unspeakable acts. And sometimes, the silence after the crime, the deafening void left in the wake of such brutality, is the loudest echo of all. A constant reminder of the lives that were stolen and the truth that remains hidden. Hinterkaifeck stands as a testament to the darkness that can hide in the most ordinary of places, a chilling reminder that evil can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic settings. And to the mysteries that may never be solved, the questions that will forever haunt us, buried deep within the empty fields of Hinterkaifeck. Now, we travel back in time to New Hampshire, 2004, a seemingly ordinary place about to be etched into the annals of unsolved mysteries. We delve into the perplexing and haunting disappearance of Maura Murray, a case that has captivated and confounded investigators, armchair detectives, and the public alike for 2 decades. Maura, a bright and promising nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, full of potential and dreams for the future. She vanished into thin air on a cold February night, a night that would forever alter the lives of those who knew and loved her. Her disappearance left behind a perplexing trail of questions, a web of unanswered inquiries that continue to fuel speculation and debate to this day. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Maura's behavior became increasingly erratic. She crashed her car in an earlier unrelated incident, leaving a dent in both the vehicle and perhaps her composure. She had an emotional breakdown, a moment of vulnerability that hinted at underlying stress or turmoil. The exact nature of this breakdown remains shrouded in mystery. Adding to the enigma, she lied to her professors about a family death, requesting time off under false pretenses. This deception raises questions about her state of mind and motivations. She packed a bag with odd and somewhat inexplicable items, a collection of belongings that seemed incongruous with a simple getaway. She withdrew nearly all her money from her bank account, a significant sum that suggested she might be planning an extended absence. And then, she drove north, her ultimate destination unknown, a question mark hanging over her journey. The route she took offered few clues, only more questions. That evening, her black 1996 Saturn sedan crashed, a seemingly minor accident that would become the epicenter of a baffling mystery. The crash occurred on a remote and desolate stretch of Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a location that amplified the sense of isolation and vulnerability. A passing school bus driver, the last known person to see Maura, stopped to offer assistance. He found her cold, visibly shaken, but seemingly uninjured. Her demeanor was described as anxious and somewhat disoriented. In a moment that would later be heavily scrutinized, she begged him not to call the police, a plea that only deepened the mystery surrounding her disappearance. She claimed she'd already called for help, a statement that proved to be untrue and further fueled suspicions about her intentions. Concerned for her safety, the bus driver disregarded her request and called 911 anyway, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to a massive search effort. 10 minutes later, police arrived at the scene, responding to the bus driver's call and ready to assist the stranded motorist. But Maura was gone, vanished into the frigid night, leaving behind a scene that defied easy explanation. Her car was found locked, the doors secured as if she intended to return, a detail that added another layer of complexity to the puzzle. Her wallet and other personal belongings were inside the vehicle, seemingly contradicting the theory that she had simply run away. Despite the fresh snowfall, there were no footprints in the snow leading away from the car, a baffling absence that suggested she may have been picked up or simply disappeared without a trace. There was no sign of where she went, no indication of her direction of travel, leaving investigators with a frustrating lack of leads. Did she flee into the dense and unforgiving woods, seeking refuge or escape in the darkness? Did she succumb to the harsh elements, the bitter cold and unforgiving conditions of a New Hampshire winter? Or was she picked up by a stranger, a chance encounter that turned sinister on a lonely and isolated road? A witness reported seeing someone walking along the road that night, heading east, further complicating the timeline and adding to the uncertainty. However, the witness couldn't definitively confirm that it was Maura, leaving room for doubt and speculation. Extensive searches of the surrounding area turned up nothing, despite the efforts of law enforcement, search and rescue teams, and volunteers. No trace of Maura, no significant clues, only a growing sense of frustration and despair. Some believe she meticulously planned her disappearance, orchestrating an escape from her life and responsibilities. But if that were the case, why leave everything behind? Her wallet, her identification, her personal belongings? Others suspect foul play, believing that Maura was the victim of a crime, a tragic encounter with a predator lurking in the shadows. The possibility of an opportunistic predator on a lonely road remains a chilling and unsettling theory. A rag stuffed in her car's tailpipe, a bizarre detail discovered at the scene, adds another layer of intrigue and speculation. This seemingly insignificant object adds another layer of mystery to an already perplexing case, a question mark within a question mark. Was it an act of sabotage intended to disable the vehicle, or a desperate attempt to fix her car in the freezing cold? Her family, especially her father, Fred Murray, has been unwavering in their dedication to finding Maura and uncovering the truth. He has never stopped searching, tirelessly pursuing every lead and advocating for a thorough investigation. He has been critical of the initial investigation, believing that crucial opportunities were missed, and has worked tirelessly to keep her story alive in the public eye. Online sleuths and true crime enthusiasts have dissected every detail of the case, poring over documents, analyzing timelines, and proposing countless theories. But despite all the attention and scrutiny, the core mystery remains stubbornly unsolved. How does someone vanish so completely, so quickly, in a matter of minutes, leaving behind no discernible trace? Maura's case has become a modern ghost story, a chilling tale of unexplained disappearance that continues to haunt the collective imagination. A life full of promise turned into a question mark, a symbol of the unknown and the unknowable. The snow has long since melted, but the chill of that February night lingers, a constant reminder of the mystery that endures. Somewhere, the truth waits, hidden beneath layers of speculation, misinformation, and unanswered questions. Perhaps buried in the woods, concealed by the dense foliage and the passage of time. Perhaps held by a stranger, a dark secret known only to one unknown individual, or perhaps known only to Maura herself, a secret she took with her into the unknown. Her disappearance serves as a haunting reminder of how quickly and easily a life can become a mystery, a puzzle with no clear solution. The vanishing on Route 112 endures unsolved and unsettling, a puzzle with too many missing pieces to ever be fully assembled. It's a story that refuses to let go, a shadow that grows darker and more complex with every passing year, defying easy answers and simple explanations. For her family, and for all who continue to search for answers, a flicker of hope remains, a belief that one day, the truth will finally come to light. But so does the fear, the unsettling possibility that some mysteries are never meant to be solved, that some questions will remain unanswered forever. Maura Murray's story serves as a stark warning, a chilling illustration of how easily someone can slip through the cracks of the world, disappearing without a trace. And how sometimes the scariest thing is not what we find when we search, but what we never do, the truth that remains forever elusive. The road remains silent and cold, a silent witness to a mystery that continues to baffle and intrigue, waiting for a truth that may never arrive. Our final story takes us to New Orleans, a city steeped in history and mystery during the tumultuous years of 1918-1919. These were times of great change and uncertainty, as the world grappled with the aftermath of war and the dawn of a new era. It was a city alive with the vibrant sounds of jazz, a burgeoning musical revolution that pulsed through its streets and filled its smoky clubs. But beneath the surface of celebration and revelry, a dark shadow lurked, a sinister presence that haunted the city's nights, a phantom killer. They called him the Axeman. His name struck fear into the hearts of every resident, a chilling moniker that whispered of unspeakable violence. He struck at night under the cloak of darkness, when the city was at its most vulnerable. The silence of the night would be shattered by his brutal acts. His victims were primarily Italian-American grocers, hardworking members of the community who found themselves inexplicably targeted by this mysterious assailant. He gained entry into their homes by slipping in through the most unexpected of places, chiseling out door panels with a precision that was as unsettling as it was effective. And then, he would attack with their own axes, turning ordinary household tools into instruments of unimaginable horror. The very symbol of domesticity became a weapon of terror. What made his crimes even more perplexing was that money and valuables were completely ignored. Robbery was not his motive. Something far more sinister drove him. His only goal, it seemed, was murder. Pure, senseless, and terrifying murder. The city was gripped by fear, a palpable sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. No one felt safe, and every shadow seemed to conceal a potential threat. Families were slaughtered in their sleep, their dreams turned into nightmares by the intrusion of this brutal killer. The sanctity of the home was violated, leaving a lasting scar on the community. Police were baffled, struggling to make sense of the senseless. The lack of a clear pattern or motive frustrated their every effort. There was no clear motive, no witnesses to come forward, and precious little evidence to work with. The Axeman seemed to operate in a realm beyond the reach of law enforcement. All that remained at the crime scenes were the bloody axes, silent testaments to the horror that had unfolded. These gruesome artifacts offered no answers, only more questions. The attacks came in waves, each series of killings sending fresh shockwaves through the already terrified city, and each attack seemed more brutal and depraved than the last, pushing the boundaries of what anyone could have imagined. Then, the Axeman did something unprecedented, something that would forever cement his place in the annals of true crime. He wrote a letter to the newspapers, a chilling missive that would both terrify and captivate the city. In it, he claimed to be a demon from hell, a supernatural entity with a taste for blood and a penchant for theatrics. He taunted the police, mocking their inability to catch him, and then made a chilling demand that would test the city's resolve. He declared that on a specific night, a night that would soon be etched in the city's collective memory, he would spare any home where jazz music was playing. If a house was filled with the sounds of jazz, it would be safe from his wrath. The city responded with a mixture of terror and defiance, unsure whether to believe the Axeman's bizarre proclamation, but unwilling to take any chances. On that night, every home, bar, and dance hall in New Orleans became a sanctuary of sound, a testament to the power of music in the face of fear. The air was filled with jazz, a cacophony of trumpets, saxophones, and pianos that echoed through the streets, a desperate plea for salvation. And when the sun rose the next morning, a collective sigh of relief swept through the city. No one was killed. The Axeman, true to his word, had kept his promise. The music had worked. Afterward, the attacks dwindled, becoming less frequent, and then, as mysteriously as they had begun, they stopped altogether. The killer vanished into thin air, never identified, never caught, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. Theories abound, even to this day, attempting to explain the Axeman's motives and identity. Was he a lone madman driven by some unknown psychosis? Or perhaps a mafia hitman, settling scores in the underworld? Some even whispered that he was a supernatural force, a demon unleashed upon the city to punish its sins. Suspicion fell on Joseph Momfrey, a man killed by a victim's widow in a fit of rage and grief. But despite the circumstantial evidence, no concrete proof ever linked him definitively to the Axeman crimes. The Axeman's letter, with its bizarre tone and outlandish claims, remains one of the most intriguing aspects of the case. It has been endlessly analyzed by criminologists, psychologists, and amateur sleuths alike, all searching for clues to the killer's identity and motivations. Was it a genuine message from a deranged mind, or a cruel prank designed to further terrorize the city? Over time, the story of the Axeman has transcended the realm of true crime and become a legend, a chilling tale passed down through generations. He became a symbol of fear, a killer who used not only violence but also the city's beloved music as weapons in his twisted game. He held an entire city hostage, paralyzed by fear and forced to comply with his single twisted demand. He preyed on the vulnerable, exploiting the darkness and the anxieties of a city already grappling with uncertainty. And in a bizarre twist, he turned jazz, the very soul of New Orleans, into a shield against death, a protective force that united the community in a shared act of defiance. The legacy of the Axeman continues to haunt the streets of New Orleans, a chilling reminder of a dark chapter in the city's history. His story lives on in New Orleans folklore, woven into the fabric of the city's identity. It's a ghost story told on haunted tours, whispered in the night, a cautionary tale of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most vibrant cities. He remains the ultimate boogeyman, a figure of pure, unadulterated terror. Faceless, motiveless, unstoppable, he embodies the kind of fear that lingers long after the details are forgotten. The details of the case, though gruesome, are what keep the story alive. The chiseled doors, the axes left behind, the sheer brutality of the attacks. These are the images that continue to haunt our imaginations. And of course, the citywide jazz vigil, a testament to the resilience and spirit of New Orleans in the face of unimaginable horror. These elements ensure that the story of the Axeman will never be forgotten, that his name will forever be associated with the dark side of the Big Easy. The Axeman came from the shadows, a creature of the night, preying on the unsuspecting. He played his bloody tune, a discordant melody of violence and fear, and then vanished without a trace, leaving behind only echoes of terror, leaving only questions that may never be answered, and a lingering sense of fear that continues to permeate the city. His story is a testament to how easily terror can transform into legend, how a real-life nightmare can become a chilling piece of folklore. And it's a powerful reminder of how a community can unite in the face of unspeakable evil, finding strength in solidarity and resilience. The music played on, a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of darkness. But the fear, the shadow of the Axeman, never truly faded, lingering in the city's subconscious. The Axeman's shadow still lingers in the Big Easy, a reminder that even in the most vibrant and joyful places, darkness can find a foothold. Sometimes the scariest monsters are not the ones we can see, but the ones who disappear without a trace, leaving us to grapple with the unknown. And sometimes the only defense against the darkness is to play along, to embrace the music and find solace in the shared experience of fear and hope. The jazzman's bloody tune echoes still, a haunting melody that serves as a reminder of the darkness that once gripped New Orleans, and the power of music to unite and protect. We've journeyed through Bavaria, New Hampshire, and New Orleans, into the heart of three chilling mysteries. These stories are more than crimes, they're shadows that remind us how fragile safety can be. The questions they leave behind are as haunting as the crimes themselves. The search for answers continues, kept alive by those who refuse to let these stories fade. If you're captivated by true mysteries, subscribe and join us as we seek the light in the darkest places. Until next time, stay safe. And remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that really happened.